Joshua, good to have you here. Really excited to do this stream. No. Joshua, I've got a class this week, so I'm teaching, so I'm not able to do it in the mornings. But next week, I will be able to do it in the morning. Yeah, I kind of like doing the back and forth schedule because it allows, different people to get, everyone kind of gets the opportunity to join in. It's nice. Oh boy, we're getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be a good stream. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one of those streams that I think you might want to just watch all the way through. Not because I need the view time, but because I genuinely, I think that this is going to be a beautiful explanation. I'm going to deviate from my normal stuff where I do the watch lists and things like that. I'm still going to do the watch list, but I had there if it's fixed. Please, Wise in the chat, if this mic is fixed. I'm going to throw the mic is what I'm going to do because this thing has been malfunctioning all day long. How about now? How about now? Everything good? I'm going to try not to touch it. Do my best. All right. The thing's been broken all day long. It keeps on cutting in and out. It's frustrating. So I'm very, very sorry for that. What I was saying, this is going to be a good stream. I'm telling you right now because I had sort of a teaching breakthrough in a way that I figured out a way to explain things much simpler for you all. With this last video that I just put out, this last little teaching thing that I did on Discord, and then I put out that video over this past weekend. Everybody seemed to really enjoy that because it was back to the basics and much more, not really in-depth, but less in-depth, really. Just showing you the true nature of what we're looking for and then associating setups with the pattern. I'm going to do that in this stream. I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible, but like actually simple. Not like, hey, this is simple, and then you're going to have 7,000 steps. There are steps, of course, because that makes it more accurate, but I'm going to break it down for you so that you understand, hey, it's either a buy low or a sell high day, or maybe it could be a sell high day or a sell high opportunity in a buy low day. And I'm going to show you all that here in a second. Before I get started, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education and informational purposes only without any express or implied warranty of any kind. Please pause the stream, read this. That way you know I am not a financial advisor, and I promise I am not too caffeinated this stream, so I will be talking mighty slow. So let's get into what the heck I am talking about. All right, so in this last video that I did, for those of you who have not seen it, I really encourage you to go watch it. It's a blue thumbnail, super pretty. Not really, but it's real basic, right? And I just was real casual in the explanation, and I'm going to try and do that right now for you all. So, the market maker templates, all right? What are we looking for? Peak formation low, 3 levels of rise, and a peak formation high. 3 levels of drop, and then continue that process, peak formation low, and that process will continue over and over again from now until the end of time. It's been happening forever. It's going to continue to happen forever. It's the same pattern over and over again because the business model works for institutions and people with a lot more money than us. So, what do we actually need to do within this pattern? How in the world can you actually use this pattern to identify trading setups? I'm going to try and put it in a better context for you. So, peak formation low, that's a W. It could be a head and shoulders, a half Batman. Half Batman's that real fancy sort of drawing that looks like this, where, you know, they got the ear and then it goes sideways and then it rolls over, which you can observe that on the Euro pairs, pound pairs. Some of those have made a beautiful peak formation high, half Batman, and it is rolled over. I think gold did the same. Anyways, so if the beginning of a week or the end of the previous week has a peak formation, I am now looking for 3 levels of rise and then a new peak formation to go back down the other direction, 3 levels of drop, and a continuation, of course, back in the other direction. How do I translate this into what we are used to seeing? Okay, so we talk about a few different types of signal days. First green day. So if the market is coming off of 3 levels of drop, and then you get a large W and a day that closes above the open, that could be a first green day. And then on the following day, we are looking for a buy low opportunity. This would be level 1 of rise. This is level 1 consolidation, and I want to buy the low of the day. That's when I use the Asian range, 3 levels of drop, and find my low of day entry, hopefully in the New York session if that presents. Once they leave level 1 consolidation and go vertical, now we are into level 2. This could also be the second day of breakouts to the upside. Now, in level 2, when they start to pull back, or after this move up outside of level 1, I might have the opportunity to take a stop hunt, like a short trade, a reversal trade, against the overall trend on day 2 of breakouts or on day 2 of the cycle. I take a stop hunt from the high of the day back down towards the low of the day. That is one opportunity that you can get on that second day or that second level of rise. But overall, what I am looking to do is, once again, buy the low of the day to go into level 3. But once I'm into level 3, does it really make sense to keep trying to buy the market? No. Now I am trying to sell the high of day, or I am waiting for a peak formation to form. So once again, I can sell the high of the day or sell, the break of that peak formation, the break of the neckline. Or if I don't get any of those things, I wait for a first red day. And then on the following day, now I'm just going back down in the opposite direction. I am trying to sell the high of the day. Once we go down into level 2, I might be able to get a stop hunt from down low back up towards the high. But overall, on the day, I am looking to sell the high of the day. It goes down into level 3, and that process continues over and over again. But the thing is, this translates into the different setups. First green day, 3 days of breakouts, first red day, and you've heard of front side and backside. I know Stacey Burke talks about front side, backside. Front side is still in the process of making 3 levels. And then the transition to the backside will come after the peak formation, first red day, the 3 days of breakouts. It might not be 3 days of breakouts. You might only get 2 days of breakouts, but you have the 3 levels within those 2 days, and then you get a selling style of template. All of this being said, I want you to really try to think about, hey, 3 levels of rise, first red day. 3 levels of drop, first green day. M's and W's. If I don't get a first green day on this day over here, we saw this today on, am I on the right pair? Maybe, maybe not. Let's take a look. Was it this one? Nope, this was actually a first green day. I'm going to have to find which one I was talking about. This one right here. This is a beautiful example of a market that has came down in 3 levels. This is the Euro JPY. This is a 1-hour chart. They've came down level 1, level 2, dropped it down into level 3 at the beginning of a week dump and pump template. Except on Monday, there was not a first green day. This was the day it opened right here. And then this is Asia, where they have broke back up to the upside. That is a very clear very nice, clean 3 levels of drop, also ending in a 1, 2, 3, and a very clear, nice W at the low of the current week and also at the low of the previous week. That broke up in Asia. This was not a first green day, but they still put in peak formation low at the low of the current week. Do I want to sell in level 1? No, I don't. I want to try to buy the low of the day. I want to try to buy the low of the session, things like that. All right, so stop trying to overcomplicate it. Stop trying to turn it into something it's not. It's either 3 levels of drop or it's not. It's either 3 levels of rise or it's not. If you miscalculate the levels, well, you've only got a couple more days of opportunity for you to kind of screw it up, right? Where if you've been like, okay, well, this was 3 levels of drop here, and now I've got a peak formation, I'm going to go long. But, it just doesn't quite make sense to do that until the pattern is truly clear. Find templates that are really clear. And then if I'm in level 1 and they drop it down, this is level 2, and they pump it back up, now I'm trying to sell the high of the day to get down to level 3. All right, and then that process repeats over and over again. So now we can do the watch list. And I'm going to try to explain the watch list in that manner, from that perspective. Everything that I've ever said is still the same. Opening range and initial balance, still the same. The tips and tricks templates, still the same. First red, first green day, 3 days of breakouts. All that stuff remains exactly the same, but you need to put it in context of that pattern. Does it make sense for me to have my first level of drop and then get a first green day? No, it does not. I want to have 3 levels of drop and be in level 3 to get that peak formation and then get a first green day. 3 days of breakouts. Do I want to just automatically start buying the market? No. I need to wait for the peak formation. I need to wait for a 15-minute or a 1-hour W down low, or wait for a low of day in level 3 sort of opportunity. All right. So, all that being said, after my little rant, let's take a look at what we've had these past couple days. Let's try to gauge and figure out where we're at coming into Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're talking about the opening range and initial balance. We're going to talk about the, putting it all into context. This is Monday right here. This is where the day opened. Actually, I need to get my previous day's levels up there. I took them off so that we could explain this a little bit easier. There we go. So this was a large W now at the low of the current week. They broke out of Friday's low. They put in a large W after 3 levels down. Push 1, push 2, push 3, level 3, large W, low of current week. And now we've had level 1. We are in level 1 consolidation at the beginning of this day. I don't want to sell the market. That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So I took a trade on this pair today, and I'm going to go down to the 1-minute chart. You can see what's happened on the 15-minute. We were in level 1 consolidation. I want to buy the low of the day. I want to buy one of the different first green day sort of scenarios. It wasn't, actually, was it? It was not a first green day yesterday, but that's okay. We still have trap volume zone down here. We can still use that as a reference. Let's go down to the 1-minute chart. The news. I took my trade on the news and then I stopped watching. And that's where I kind of made a mistake. I should have kept watching for the low of day buy after 9:30. However, 8:30 opened up. I think that was CPI today. Dumped it back down, tapped into my stuff, and then broke back up to the upside. This is where I started taking longs. All right. Spike to the low. You got this engulfment of 8:30, pin hammer. And this is where I started entering. And then this went all the way up. There's a numbered box level up here. And I took my profits. It was a new bar. It was a new 15-minute bar. And I took profits at this level. And I just closed the trade. All right. And I'm very glad that I did. I had this marked up as a little channel here. And you can see coming into a new 15-minute bar, poke 1, poke 2, poke 3, starts to break down and then capitulates back down. I didn't wait till after 9:30, so therefore it is a bit more risky. So I was very happy to just take I think this is like 30 or 40 pips and then just get out. Yep, so about 45 pips to the high, and I just got out. Now, however, on oil is a little bit different. Now, it's we're same place within the template. However, oh man, what did it do? There we go. So we had the 3 levels of drop coming off of 2 weeks ago. This is a peak formation high. That is a half Batman. Oh, there it is. There's the head, and then it breaks down. So this is the head, and it broke down, gave 3 levels down, all right? And then it did pump back up. 1, 2, kind of missing the third. But coming off of the peaks from last week, dumping down on Friday, there's level 1 down. And then there's level 2 down. And then it pushes down into level 3, which means absolutely nothing. Literally means nothing unless I get a signal day or a W or something along those lines, which it gave both. Large W at the low of the current week. This is also a first green day. Very large dumping day coming off of Friday, a day that is opened. Attempted to trade below the low first, peaked out, and created a large W at the low of the current week. 2 thumbs up. Good stuff. Love to see it. Now, after this W has been formed, I came to the screen today and said, I'm looking for a buy low opportunity. I'm going to try and buy the low of the day. This is the Asian range. Remember, I talk about framing your day and trying to figure out where your opportunities might come in. So then you come down to the 1-minute chart, and where did it go? There it is. So this was the news. Where's 8:30? Right there's the news right there. News happened. We've dumped down. Now, once we've dumped down, you can see how we have put in a peak formation low at the low of the current day. I had no break-in structure back up to the upside. But this slightly lower low created a W. This is my break-in structure back up to the upside. And my key to start looking for 3 pushes. All right. This is 9:30. I don't want to be the first mouse. I want to be the second mouse and get the cheese. Right. So I'm going to wait for my 3 pushes. 9:30 opened up. Line drive. Push 1. Come down, push 2, then I get push 3. The peak formation was made at 75, and they traded back down in 3 pushes, back down into 75, gave a little 3 push pattern and a W. That allowed me to enter in for my first entry right here. And then as this was climbing, and I have to pull up my picture, but it was somewhere I had around 3 to 4 entries on this where it continued to climb, and I just kept on entering in. This is a breakout, fake out candle. I do remember that entry. I entered in there as well. Now, I was in a few times, and this continued to climb. My average price, because I do remember that, it was at 77,920. That was my average price entry. And I did not take anything off because I was going to hold, because I bought the low of the day, I was going to hold back up through the high of the day. The high of the day, this is the previous day's high, was at just about 50. Okay? Now, I entered in all these times, and then the market started to pull back. They made a higher high, right? So we made a higher high. You can expect a pullback. My average was down low enough that I wasn't too worried, and it started to come back down in 3 legs. And I took this trade live this morning on Discord with the webinar group. They said this was a very insightful sort of trade where it was like, man, this felt really good to watch you do this. So 3 legs back down. Just trying to keep my cool, not allow this, I'm not going to freak out. If it comes down and stops me out, I don't care. I'm at break even. All right. I have my break even set right here. Came down in 3 legs and created a W. Now I have started pyramiding a position. All right. I am already at break even, and I'm going to add in smaller size to allow a trade that is already profitable, and I'm already at break even. I went long here, and then I put my stop immediately at break even, and then allowed this trade to play out. This candle right here, 1017, came off my take profit by the spread. Like it touched it, but it didn't take it out, and I closed on that candle right there, 1017. All right, so on all of these entries down here, off of my first entry, this one right here is accurate. I don't know about this one. Off this first entry until close was 70 pips, and then on my pyramided position was just about 20 to 25. And then these other 2 add-ins, obviously those racked up some pips as well. So This was a really great trade. I held it for as long as I wanted to. You know, iron hands, I sat on them, and I just let it go. I was high conviction that it was going to go the distance and not just going to stop hunt back down into me, which felt pretty good. All right. Level 1 going up to level 2. That's what gave me the conviction or the ability to actually hold on. All right. Let's get rid of this and actually get in. Those are the 2 trades that I took today. I have nothing else to go over as far as those, so now we can actually get into the watch list. Let's see. What is the weekly separator indicator that you have? This is weekly and daily separators. You can just type that in, weekly and daily separators, and then make sure that you check this box right here, override. And the reason I started using that was because whenever I would go from indexes back to currency pairs, it wasn't putting that up there with the weekly separator that I had, which was really annoying. This one will do it on currencies, and it will also do it on indexes, gold, and oil. So I really like this. I've added it in there. Let's go back. We're going to start doing the actual watch list now. If I can get rid of some stuff. I've got rid of the... Okay, we're good. All right, so I'm on the 1-hour chart. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Now, we had a peak formation low at the low of the current week. Big W formation. Awesome. Not a first green day necessarily, but now we have the first day of breakouts back up to the upside. That means I've got trap volume down low. Good stuff. So I might be coming up into 1 day of breakouts, and maybe we're up into maybe the first level, or, you know, this at the end of this day, maybe this level 1, maybe this is level 2. I'm not going to guess. It's okay. If this is level 1 and this is level 2, and now we're up into level 3, good stuff. If not, and this just keeps going tomorrow, then that's fine too. However, what I do have is a large move out on a Tuesday that is closed very far outside of the opening range, which makes me a bit nervous. I am going to mark this off as 1 and 2 and then 3 back up to the high because of how far this move has came outside of Monday's high. All right, this is done pretty much 3 levels. If we're using a 100 pip box, this is done pretty much 3 levels all the way up. I think 225 or 250 would be the 3 levels marker. So as far as a weekly template goes, I've had a large dump, and maybe now we're beginning a large pump. I have no idea. We've closed outside of the opening range pretty far, and that's about all I've got on this pair. I don't have 3 days of breakouts. I don't have a first green day. I know, Space, you said first green day. I guess we could. Maybe we're going back up to here. That's a possibility. I think that this was if you're going to call it a first green day, like this wasn't a first green day, but this is still first green day behavior, that today was the trade for first green day, in my opinion. All right, let's see. All right, so we got 1 day of breakouts to the upside. No first red, no first green. Obviously not an inside day. I'm going to put this into pump and dump. And I'm going to put 3 question mark here. I want to see more of the weekly template develop. Let's go see if we can find something better. Okay, US 30 came back down beginning of this week, put in a W. And now we have gone into levels of rise. All right, now we're back at the high of the current week. This has also done a very large extension outside of Monday's high. This was Monday's high, and now we have done over 300 pips of rise up outside of the breakout level. Rise level 1, rise level 2, rise level maybe 3. And we're at the high of the current week. So I don't know if this is going to be level 3. I have no idea. But I can come in tomorrow and see, hey, we've done 300 pips of rise. We've had 3 stair steps to the high. I'm going to look for a W, or an M, excuse me. If I don't see an M, well, I'm not going to take a trade. All right, that's about it. We've broke the previous week's high, I think. Hold on. Let me stop speaking and actually see things. There we go. Yep, so we've hit previous week's high. As of today, we've stair-stepped our way back up. This is the first time hitting previous day's high or previous week's high this week. So that's good. I'm going to annotate that. And as of today, we have 1 day of breakouts, and that's it. That's all we've got. We don't have an inside day. We don't have 3 days breakouts. We don't have first red, first green. This was a first green day on Monday. They traded down first. They traded below Friday's low, put in a peak formation, came back up and closed. Traded back down into the low. 1, 2, 3. Put in that nice W that we all know and love. This is on a 1-hour chart too, which is crazy. And then throughout the entire session, just went vertical all the way back up to previous week's high. Beautiful. So let's see. That's it. That's all I can do. This is all the annotations I need. They've closed very far outside of the opening range on a Tuesday. That's one of the templates that I don't really care for. But this nice, very clear, clean, stair-stepping pattern on its way up. I might be able to look for a lower low back down on the inside tomorrow coming out of level 3. This could be level 3, 300 pips of rise. And also the fact that we have the nice stair-stepping pattern. Maybe we've got volume caught. I don't know. That's some thesis. That's some ideas that I can come into tomorrow with. If I come to the screen tomorrow and none of that makes any sense, then I abandon it and I'll go to something else. I'll go find a template that is more clear. All right. Let's go on to oil. Okay, oil. Large W down low. They attempted to come back up. First green day on Monday. They attempted to trade lower first. That gave us a first green day. It did not eventuate today. We got a low of day trade, sure, but did it explode? Did it actually go and make higher highs? No. Now we're back down in what could be level 1 consolidation. I'm still going to look for a buy low opportunity tomorrow if it presents. However, let's take a look at weekly templates. Let's think about this from the perspective of opening range and initial balance. This is the opening range for the week. They've attempted to go higher, and they failed as of today. Yesterday, on Monday, they attempted to go lower and failed. So what does this turn into? Everybody in the chat right now, what does this turn into whenever I see this pattern? Monday went low. Tuesday went high. What kind of pattern has this turned into? Still within the opening range. Okay, so this is one of those tips and tricks slides that I've talked about. And it's all about the context of what is happening. We've had 3 levels of drop. Large W, broke out. We have a peak formation low, peak formation high. So I've got peak formation low, peak formation high. I can come into tomorrow and see, are we going to get a parabolic pattern on a Wednesday to come out of level 2 or level 1 consolidation up into level 2? I don't know. But I can certainly look for it tomorrow if it were to present. Maybe I get a nice channel. They made a higher high. We've traded back down into the low. All right, this is the opening price or the closing price from last week, opening price for this week. We started auctioning and tapping into it. Maybe we're going to get a little channel coming into tomorrow. I don't know. But I am going to put this into squeeze based off of this pattern because this is a tips and tricks slide favorite where I've got a peak formation low, peak formation high at the high of the week, and then I can look for some kind of heartbeat or squeezing pattern tomorrow. All right, sound good? You can see this nice consolidation as well up here. You can see how clean this rectangle is. They've been spiking down into the low of it. We'll see. Now, on the flip side of this, you know, it could really do anything, right? It spikes back up, drops back down. I've miscounted levels. Don't get married to your analysis. However, I am still going to go with, until proven wrong tomorrow, buy low. All right, buy low opportunity. Gold. Oh, boy, gold. It is beautiful. So yesterday morning and this morning, especially this morning, talking to the webinar group, and I said, hey, you know, buy low, or excuse me, a sell high opportunity based off of peak formation high. All right, this is a half Batman pattern. This is not a double top pattern, but that is a peak formation high. You can see the inside day from Monday. They triggered the low of the inside bar. So what does that mean? I've got Breakout trader stops, not breakout traders, but inside bar trader stops still at the high. They might have a reason to go back up later in the week. I don't know, but I'm going to put that annotation there and see. Next, what else do I've got? So there's been 3 levels of rise. There was a peak formation reset back over here on Wednesday that continued with 3 more levels. Good stuff. So we got 1 day of breakouts, 2 days of breakouts. They go into that 3rd day of breakouts, and then that peak formation has presented. When I came to the screen this morning, they were already breaking down outside of London. Frame the day. Asian range, opening range, initial balance for the day. They're making lower lows, lower highs. I'm looking for a sell high opportunity. One of the gentlemen in the group, I don't know if he's in here right now, but he perfectly sold, based off that analysis, he perfectly sold this M at the high of the session on gold. He sold this break right here. He got in somewhere in this area right here, which is beautiful. And then he just held it all the way, or most of the way down. So that was good to see. Anyways, let me get back to the 1 hour chart. There we go. So now we have come off a peak formation high at the high of the current week. Monday was not a first red day, but you can see visually that the volume is caught up high. That's good to see. Today was considered a first red day because how far away was the pump? This is the last place they started pumping, was back here. Level 1, level 2, come up, rise, level 3, consolidation, peak formation, drop it back down. Now, are they going to come all the way back down here? I genuinely have no clue. But we have 1 day of breakouts, a first red day, based off of 3 days of breakouts, 3 days of pumping, and then that death line sort of set up today. All right. So we've dropped it down. We came down. This is, we've got some levels to think about down here. This is all level 1. And now maybe tomorrow we'll go down to level 2. First red day. So that means I'm going to look for a sell high opportunity tomorrow on gold. And that's about it. That's all I got to think about. Sell high. Sell high of day, sell high of session. And that's it. First red day from all-time high. Probably should look at that too. Good stuff, Space. Yep. So this was how far back? Okay, that was previously the all-time high. This was the all-time high, and then we broke even higher. Cool. This is a weekly chart. This is a daily chart. We've also got a huge engulfment back down. So maybe people are caught or trapped somewhere up in here. Anyways, I'm not going to think too deep into that. I'm just going to look for a sell high tomorrow. Sell high of day, sell high of session. We've got 1 day of breakouts down to the downside. We also do have breakout trader stops in the market right here. The market broke out very cleanly without retesting. So if they do have reasons to go back up, I'm not married to I have to take a short tomorrow. I could have maybe misjudged. The market will do whatever it's going to do. This could have been level 1, 2, and 3. I come to the screen tomorrow. They put in a W. Yikes, right? All right. I do like this, though. This looks very clean. Quite nice. Why did I just do that? Put that back. Next week is also FOMC. That's disgusting. I really don't care for FOMC weeks, to be honest. Maybe the day after FOMC is good. But the beginning of that week, like Monday, Tuesday, and then I come into Wednesday, and I'm like, oh, great, it's Wednesday. Time for a Wednesday trade setup. And then I look at the news calendar. It says FOMC, and I don't get to trade that day, which kind of stinks. All right, Euro JPY came off very clean. Not a first green day, but peak formation at the low of the week. Level 1 consolidation. Are we going to get rise to level 2 tomorrow? Day 1 of breakouts today. We guess we could consider this first green day. You know, we've had large days of dumping. Dump, dump, dump. And then we had a consolidation, and maybe now we're going to start shifting into that pump mode. Get that kind of curvature. All right, so I'm definitely going to write this down as first green day. I'll even change the color because I'm fancy like that. Not really. That sounded arrogant. Let's put this here. This was also day one, 3-day cycle. Down here on Monday, they broke below Friday's low. Today, that breakout has officially failed. Day one, day two. Tomorrow is day 3 of the 3-day cycle. William, this is not day 0. Day 0 would be Monday spikes the low, Tuesday spikes the high, and closes back on the inside of Monday's range. All right. This is pretty much the low of this consolidation here. Regardless, I think I'm just going to look for a buy low opportunity tomorrow on this pair. And if it starts pumping, and it starts pumping appropriately, we're going to take this back up to maybe here. I think that would be an appropriate area. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, and this is also closed on the outside of the opening range. So a good thing with closing on the outside of the opening range, ladies and gentlemen, if you have ever seen this, when you get a close outside of the opening range, one of the things that I like to preach about is Asia makes a higher high. So maybe we have a move up into level 2. And then London starts to pull. Oh, what in the world did my mouse just do? What is happening? All right. And then London starts to pull back. So Asia makes a higher high. London starts to pull back. And then New York goes into consolidation and then goes vertical. That would be like a really good 3-session template for a close on the outside of the opening range. Now, of course, this could also dump back down, but if Asia starts making lower lows and lower highs, this better not break down any lower than this low right here. All right, I don't want to see them go any lower than this, or else my first green day is probably going to be invalidated. I'm not going to even wait for them to come all the way back down here. All right. That's a really big space. There's a lot of space for them to go from here all the way back down to here. It doesn't really make any sense. If I've got people caught down here, then these people should be caught. I don't want to see them start getting left or let out of their positions. So where would they have to go to start letting them out of their positions? They would have to go below here to let them out. Or overall, what I would really say, hey, this is like, I really should stop watching this. Look at this big down close candle. That's one of the biggest down close candles I have ever seen in my entire life. Other people thought the same thing and they sold that. All right. So we might have people caught down here. So I really don't want to see them go any lower than that. All right. The close of this candle. That's my own personal opinion of that, where volume should be trapped and things like that. All right. Structurally, we're making lower lows and lower highs, and they broke structure. They made a higher high. Good stuff. So now we might be shifting into an uptrend. So I really want to see them continue to do that. US dollar, Japanese yen. Very similar template to what we had today on Euro JPY. Very large dump. Dump, dump, dump. 3 levels of drop. Multiple days of breakouts. 3 days of breakouts for sure. And then we come down into what we believe could be level 3. All right, so we got like 1. You can see the little 3 push pattern. This is a running sort of pattern. And then it pulls off. Level 1 drops down. We get a huge run down. Level 2, one of the biggest bear candles I've ever seen in my life, is the one that sends the market into consolidation and it gets real choppy. And then it reversed 2 days later. Good stuff. So maybe we've identified where people are caught down low. This is all in hindsight. I can use this information in hindsight. So large peak formation, W at the low of the day. They made a higher high. This is a first green day today. On Tuesday, and a close on the outside of the opening range. The opening range for Monday, this was the high. They came down, stopped out those breakout traders, and then boom, it goes and takes a little rip. All right. Love to see it. Now this has come up kind of a staggered pattern here. Close outside the opening range. Yeah, so maybe I could get a Asia makes a higher high. London pulls back. New York trade back up through the high. Where would I want to take this? They kind of already touched where I wanted to take it. Or if I were to take this. We've got profitable trades back over here. They'd hit those already. Like profitable break-even trades. All right, so large dump. Maybe now we're going to start to pump. Don't know how far, but we'll definitely see throughout this week. All right, first green day. Hey, for all of you that have been here for a while and you've been watching my streams, do you like this more simplified version of the explanations? Is this helping you all to like fully grasp and understand, or is this like I need to go back and do what I was doing and make it more detailed? I need feedback, ladies and gentlemen. Help me help you. So you're enjoying this style? Simpler is better. Keep it as simple as possible. I'm in level 1, look for a buy low. I'm in level 2, look for a buy low. What is happening in relationship to opening range, initial balance, signal days? All that stuff makes it very simple. If I learn something new, there's nothing new about space. This is nothing new. It's just a different way of explaining it. And I didn't really realize that this was going to be an effective way of teaching. I thought people wanted the detail and things like that. But that video that I just put out made me realize that maybe all the detail is confusing people. So maybe I need to just go back to very simple explanations, because that seems to be what people need to hear. All right, US dollar, Japanese yen, first green day. Looks good. I'm going to put this into first green day spot. And then gradually go into detail in other videos. So like use maybe my long form content as like simple explanations, and then a combination of more complex, and then just use these live streams to make it as simple as possible. I think that's probably what I'm going to roll with. Especially y'all sitting here listening to it in live time, like it makes it hard to go back and hear it over and over again, unless you're watching it, you know, after the fact. Cam, where do you start the levels of rise for the day? What do you mean? It's the peak formations, right? So here's the thing. Over the course of a week, you get this pattern, right? Level 1, level 2, level 3. You also get the same... What is happening? You also get the same pattern, though, within a day. That's why I've talked about the Asian range. And I've shown you all that Asian range video. And also I've got the slideshow that I put out a while back in like June or July of last year. The different templates of the day. Peak formation low, they stop hunt outside of the Asian range. They rise, level 1, level 2, level 3, end the day in consolidation. That's like a normal daily template. You could also have stop hunt to the high, 3 levels of drop, end the day in consolidation. Is it going to look perfect like that every single time? Absolutely not. You could also have straightaways where the market puts in a peak formation at the Asian range low, and then you get 3 levels of rise, something like this. Like they don't do a proper stop hunt outside of the range. You can also have Asian range where they put in a low and a high in the same day. They do a peak formation low outside. You get 3 levels back up to the high, and they do a peak formation high and then close and end the day. That would be like a doji candle on the daily chart. So there's multiple different daily templates. They're all very similar. And I just use the daily template in line or in combination with the overall weekly template. If I want to buy low, then I want to buy the low of the day or the low of the session. And I'm looking to see if this has already happened in London and they've already started making levels of rise, then I should be green light to be able to take my trade. However, if I get a trade that they stop hunt, I have a buy low opportunity and they put in a W at the low of the day, at the low of Asia, I'm going to hold that trade, or I should hold that trade, because it still has 3 levels to go back up to the upside. I should hold that and pyramid that position from low of day back to high of day, or even further, depending on, you know, how the day is set up. But anyways, all this talking is making me hungry. I need more foods. Let's see. Cam on oil, draw a line across previous from previous week's low on oil. Yeah, exactly. So like that was Friday's low, right? Yeah, so Friday's low, but you can see the previous day's low. This is Friday's low. This is an area for trapping volume. That's why I've talked about one of those scenarios that I like to look for is when they come back down to retest the trap volume zone, that's acceptable. And this morning, I actually had this drawn with a big green box. It was so belligerent, but it was good because when they came down and touched down in that box, it's like, okay, I've touched my trap volume zone. I don't want to see them sink too far in there. And then the perfect pattern presented, and I was like, okay, there's the trade. You know, it really is that simple. All right, let's go to US dollar CAD. I'm on the 1 hour chart. Again, this has done 3 levels down. Very large, very obvious, right? They've came out of a large descending triangle coming off the high of last week. The levels, very clear. Dumped it down. Dump, level 1. Dump down, level 2. Not really a solid pullback per se. But then we get a large peak formation, so I'm probably just misdrawing the levels, and that's fine. That's going to happen. This is probably level 1 drop right here. Level 2 drop, level 3. Now we have a first green day and a large W down low. All right, this down, up, down, engulfment, level 3. Volume trapped at the low of Friday, low of the current week, day 1, 3-day cycle. They've spiked the low. They've spiked the low on Friday. They've came up and they've spiked the high on Monday. Friday was the first green day. Today, level 1 consolidation. Still in level 1 consolidation. On this pair today, I was looking for a buy low opportunity. They spiked up, they pulled back, and they made a higher high as well. So this pullback, they're just trading back down into a structural low. All right, so high, low, higher high. This is the low. They're trading back down into the low in a creeping trend. Creeping on back down. Then, before the New York session even began, this was at 7 a.m., down, up, down. There's the engulfment back up to the upside. There's the buy low opportunity in the first hour, probably off the news, and then it followed through. All right, so we still haven't quite made it up into level 2 yet. This is all still level 1. So tomorrow I look for a buy low opportunity if that presents. All right, now, as of today, this is a failed breakout of probably on a lower time frame. You can kind of see this better on the 15-minute chart, to be honest. Level 1, 2, maybe this is 3. This is not a first red day, though. This was 1 day of breakouts. We've got 2 days of breakouts. No first red, no first green. ECAL, you got a first bounce off after the news on this pair? Was this the pair that you're talking about, ECAL? Okay, so on this pair, I'm not seeing anything as far as, so the weekly template, we've had opening range, they've pushed out once. This is a failed breakout of the opening range. They pulled back down on the inside. So what would I want to see tomorrow? Typically, what I'm going to look for is this breakout. If it actually does fail, Asia's going to make a lower low. London's going to do the same. New York might do the same as well. This might roll over, break down, and go back down towards the lows. That'd be totally fine. I'm fine with that. On the flip side of that, on the 1 hour chart, we're still in level 1 consolidation. So if this pulls back, and this is the breakout level, and this breakout level starts to succeed tomorrow, Asia makes a higher high, London pulls back, and then we might get that move finally back up. All right. No signal day. Nothing like that. Monday's opening range, failed breakout. They've actually spiked both sides of the range. Timeout. Can this strategy be used? I use it on NASDAQ and US 30 every single day. That's what I primarily trade. US 30, NASDAQ, gold, oil. All right, so this was the opening range for the week. And all the levels aside, let's just forget that for 1 second. Market came in sideways. Beautiful. Spiked the low, spiked the high, pull back inside. Day 0. So this is going into the squeeze category. And this looks like, I don't know, we're going to see tomorrow. I need more information on this pair for sure, but this spiked, oh man, I didn't mean to do that. Spiked the high, spiked the low, pull back inside. We'll see tomorrow. What does PD and DP stand? Oh, pump and dump, dump and pump. Pump and dump, dump and pump. So if it was like just a session trade or something like that, I don't have an actual signal day or anything like that, then that's where I have to put it. This is one that I actually left in nothing today. I genuinely had no clue. I was looking at it on the 1 hour chart this morning, and it came down what I thought was, 3 days of breakouts, 3 levels of drop, whatever. And then this was not a first green day. Like, this pattern's not very clear to me. It's still not very clear to me. I am not going to guess that one's going to get the boot. Now, this is a pair that I really enjoyed looking at. This one and also Euro USD. Yeah. So, pound dollar. Last week, the template was very clean, very clear. This is the one that I was referring to that I said had a really nice half Batman. There's the ear, there's the head, and the little nose, and then it dumps down. So now we've dropped it down outside of that half Batman. We've got 1 day of breakouts in the market, kind of two, right? This was a first red day. This was a sell high opportunity day. Both in Asia, or both in the London and New York session, both had trades. Now we've gone down and we've dropped down lower than the opening range. All right, so maybe we're going to get... I have no idea. I have no idea what we're going to get tomorrow. Genuinely no clue. All I know is we have closed on the outside of the opening range today. So my two scenarios could be Asia makes a lower low, London maybe pulls back, New York trade. Option 1. Option 2, breakout fails over the course of 2 days. This turns into a W. Asia makes a higher high. They pull back up. They layer on top of that breakout level. New York goes vertical back through and towards the high. That's the only two things that I could possibly look for on this pair. And I'm actually going to put this into opening range because I think this is probably setting up for something. All right, it's trading very clean. The levels are very clean. The scenarios of what could happen are very obvious. They're very clear. I'm good with this. Euro USD. All right. Very obvious. Strong push down. A strong push down. And a strong push down. All right. So we've got 1 day of breakouts, 2 days of breakouts. What's today? First green day. This was where the day opened. Traded down. Failed breakout outside of the opening range. They pulled back up on the inside of the range. Ooh, I don't know. What do y'all think? Is this first green day? If it was, it better be because this is a pullback starting from Friday. We're going to go with first. I'm going to be conservative. We're going to do first green day question mark. Because I'm not going to marry myself to that idea. This is where the day opened. This is yesterday's close. Failed breakout down low. Okay, so we do kind of have maybe a little bit of a W down here. I still see downside on Euro USD. You know what? It honestly could. I wouldn't be surprised. However, the failed breakout, what does the weekly range look like? Monday, Tuesday. So a 50% retracement of the opening range. It's about right there. I'm not going to guess. We're just going to put this. I'm going to put this in first green day. And I'll make sure to leave that question mark there. Looking for a buy low. Coming off the low of the week. Failed breakout. If I come to the screen and they're making lower lows, lower highs, probably not. You could be wrong. I could be wrong too. I'm wrong all the time. But I'm also right quite often, which is works out pretty good. I'm not trying to predict, right? It's not about predicting what's going to happen tomorrow. There's plenty of people that are far more intelligent than me that are doing like mathematics and all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm just going to look for the setup. I'm going to build an idea tonight, and then I'm going to expand upon that idea when I come to the screen tomorrow morning. And if my ideas are lining up and things are making sense, then I will continue to look for that idea in the session. Pound dollar or pound yen. You're saying pound yen's beautiful first green day? Ooh, I don't know if I would call that beautiful. I'd call it something. I don't know about beautiful, though. Are you going to be on tomorrow? I am off. Am I going to be on Discord? So tomorrow, I'm teaching a webinar this week on Discord, so that's why I'm doing my live stream in the afternoon this evening. I'll be on Discord, but I won't be trading live on Discord. I'll be trading with the group, but I will be next week. All right. My next year might get a little choppy for me, or not next year, but next month might get a little choppy because I'm getting married. Which any of you that are married, I'm sure there's some of you here. It's a bit stressful, so I'm gonna focus probably more on wedding stuff. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of the time of the stream where if you have questions, comments, concerns, you want me to look at something, you missed something, and you want me to go back so you can see what I had up there. I have tried to keep this stream as black and white as possible. There's either 3 levels or there's not. There's either a peak formation or there's not. There's either a first green day or there's not. There's either 3 days of breakouts or they're not. We're either in level 1, 2, or 3 or we're not. Can I go over my trades again? Yeah. Thank you very much. So we're going to take a look at... So I took a trade on NASDAQ today. I took a long opportunity based on the fact that this came off of the high of Friday or the high of last week. They came down level 1, level 2, level 3. That means absolutely nothing unless we get a peak formation. There was. They made a big W down low. So when they came up here, I came to the screen today. I said, hey, I'm going to look for a buy low opportunity. Then coming down to the 1-minute charts, I waited till after the news, and I tried to go long. Because they spiked down on the news, and then 2 minutes later, they reversed and engulfed that 8:30 time. So I started entering on this pen hammer, and I allowed this to go up to that numbered level. A new 15-minute bar opened. It did not explode. I closed the trade. That was trade 1. Trade 2 was on oil. We had the large W down low, came to the screen today. This is also a first green day on Monday. So I was looking for a buy low opportunity. There's the low of Asia. And coming into the news, they dumped it down. Peak formation was at 75. This was also a higher high. They made a lower low. And then they broke structure back up to the upside. This is the break in structure. This is all the first mouse. Then they come back down once, twice, a third time. And then this is the small W down low. This was my opportunity to get in as low as possible at numbers as well, at 75, and then add into this position as it went up. This one was off this first entry. I think I said it earlier, was about 70 pips. But I had multiple entries on this, somewhere in here, and then definitely up in here for that extra 25. Attention on gold. Hold on. I can't see. 5 minute. Attention on gold 5 minute. I'm unbelievably confused. Is it me? What's up with the 5 minute? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you all for participation. This has been a great stream, and I really hope that the information and the simplicity as time goes on, I'm going to keep doing streams like this for a while and see how people respond to them, if they really enjoy the content of the simplicity, and it really helps them to get better at trading on the following day. Then I'll keep doing streams like this where they're real simple. If not, I'll go back to a more, not complex, but more detailed version. Either way, it's the same exact thing. Hope you all have a great rest of your evening. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.